Welcome to a new webcast episode. Today we talk about Microsoft License Management with au2mator. A short introduction of myself. My name is Michael Seidel. I'm Microsoft MVP since 2015. I'm doing automation consultant since 10 plus years. I'm from Austria, Europe, and I am the founder and CEO of au2mator. au2mator was founded 2015 in Austria, based back then originally only as a front end for System Center Orchestrator. So who remembers System Center Orchestrator was a lucky guy. In 2019, we enhanced our portal to support 4 different automation engines. So we added PowerShell, Azure Automation. Of course, we already had System Center Orchestrator, and we added System Center SMA. But SMA already has been removed 2 years ago because nobody was using it. And in 2024, so today, we are really happy to have a growing consulting team. So we help our customers all around the globe with our consulting and IT process automation. So how does it work? So how does the au2mator self-service portal work? First of all, you have to build your automation. So at least you or we can help you, or you download it from our GitHub repository. So you have to build your orchestrator runbook, your Azure automation runbook, or you write your PowerShell script. And based on standards, you have your initialized data, so something you can put in your automation, and some return data. So at the end, you return some values back. So this is standard. So this is nothing specific for au2mator. What we then do, or from the admin side, then you create a service. So you go to the au2mator portal, you create a service, you connect it to your automation, and then configure and build your questions. The questions can be dynamic questions, so they will be shown or hidden based on any previous answers. There are different question types. So you can really build a very easy or complex, or at least dynamic form in questions. So everything that helps your users to enter the data as they need it for the automation. Then you can configure an approval. This is not mandatory, so you can configure an approval. This is a single approve or deny. So one person needs to approve or deny. This can also be your manager. So we get the manager out of the Active Directory and set this as the approver. Or you can have a group of users to approve or deny, and then when a percentage is reached, then the service is approved. And of course, to make sure not everyone can see every service, you configure role-based access. So you make sure who can see the service you created right now. So that was more the admin side or the IT side. The other thing is to start a request is then to your users, to your colleagues. So a user can start a request. He's filling the information. He's using the different question types, whatever you configured, to help him fill all the needed informations. And then if configured, he is waiting for the approval. He was get notified via the portal or email or Teams that an approval is pending. So he knows what's next. And if there was no approval, then the automation is triggered. So the approval was approved, or there was no approval, then the automation is triggered. And that means the PowerShell script, the Azure Automation Runbook, or the System Center Orchestrator Runbook is then triggered and filled with all those information the user entered via the service in the form. And after the automation is finished, you get some return data back to the portal or via email to the user or via Teams to the user. So why should we do this all? Of course, a very popular topic and very important topic right now is to increase security. Because if you provide your standard tasks, your admin tasks, and use au2mator as a toolbox, to assign licenses, to reset passwords, to change group memberships, easy stuff, then you can reduce your application admins. And if you reduce your application admins, you dramatically reduce the possibility that something wrong is happening or someone does something wrong. Okay, so that's a huge improvement to increase your security by removing all your application admins and provide a self-service form to trigger the automation behind. Of course, to increase quality. So our automation doesn't care if it's snowing outside, if it's raining, if it's hot. They have no headaches or something like this. So the automation always proceeds the same way, okay, compared to a human being. And for example, the user on offboarding, if 3 people in your IT department can do the user on offboarding, everyone will do it in a different way. And that's the huge advantage for automation, because he's always doing the same way. Okay. And with that, there's a lot of time you will save. First of all, you have a lot of maybe smaller services to use it as a toolbox in the IT. But the bigger thing is, for example, user on offboarding. In my opinion, a user on offboarding is not a task the IT has to do or to solve. The IT has to provide the systems, the server, whatever, but the user on offboarding is an HR topic or a manager topic. So the manager needs to provide the information, the HR needs to provide information, but the IT just creates the user, but that's now automated. And when you automate those things, those huge processes, you save a lot of time and you put away the pressure from the IT department. So that's and continuously, if you save time, of course, you save a lot of money, and you save the resources of your IT team for higher to-dos, for higher tasks, to evolve the IT department, to, I don't know, implement another feature, another software, whatever. But for those, you save time and save money. And of course, at the end, you will have happy users or happy employees, because a lot of employees know such kind of self-service portal from other companies, and they expect that they just need to fill out a form to get simple or maybe some enhanced things automatically done. Maybe an approval, but not to open a ticket, not to wait days or weeks for a response, and maybe continuously wait because maybe someone forgot the ticket. Okay, so then you will have happy users, and every 5 points will make the IT happy, because the IT can now focus on very important things and not those low-level tasks, and they don't have to stay late to offboard a user or something. So the IT will dramatically increase and will be happy. So a lot of talk. Now we switch over to our demo. We have 2 sessions or 2 environments. You see here the light theme, that's the manager side, and you see the dark theme, that's the end user side. And why we talk about the end user? Today we talk about how to manage Microsoft licensing with au2mator. And what we're trying to do here is to show a summary of all or most of the solutions we did for our customers. So we try to combine a lot of ways how to do it and want to showcase this today. So that means we have customers allowing the end users to request a license. And now you will think, okay, but when they can request a license, they will get all the license, that will cost a lot of money and so on. No, because there's an approval step afterwards. So in our case, we are here at the end user side. So we are here at Jasmine, dark mode, dark theme. And Jasmine is asking, can I request a license or something like this? And luckily, she's going to the au2mator self-service portal, looking for license, and she sees, oh, I can request a license. So she has now a form to select a license. And for this, of course, we only show licenses Jasmine is not assigned already. So in our case, we do the Copilot for Microsoft 365. And in this example, we decided to show the price. So this is, it depends on your environment, if you like to show that to the users. But we saw that the users, when they see the price, they maybe think twice if it's really needed that I need those license, okay? So in our case, we see Jasmine wants to have the license. So she's asking for that and click the finish button. So what is happening now? Jasmine will receive an email with the note that her manager needs to approve. So we get an email, is waiting for an approval, all the informations. So that's it. So Jasmine knows, okay, I have to wait. Or maybe she goes to her manager and asks if he can speed up. So we are now at the manager side. This is my user, and I'm the manager of Jasmine. And I also get an email. So those are old emails. So I also get an email that Jasmine is requesting the Copilot, and it costs 346.80 euros per user per year. So now I can directly go to the portal and click on the button and approve or deny. And now that's it. So it is easy step, easy interaction. And now we switch back to Jasmine's desktop and immediately get an email that the request is completed because the manager has approved. And that's all the details that I was assigned the Copilot license. So when some weeks are gone, and now Jasmine decides I don't need the license anymore. It's not working like I expected. So I can remove the license, and that's also a user service. So the user can remove an unneeded license by himself, and we see only licenses Jasmine has already assigned. Now I decide I want to remove the Copilot license. Okay, finish. And in the background, the automation is triggered and I will removed from the license. One thing to explain, what does it mean to remove a license or to add a license to a user? It depends on your configuration. So a lot of customers using group managed licensing. So the only thing is I have to put a user in a group and then the license is gone, but need to sync the connector and everything. Other customers using the direct assignment, so they have to log into the portal and make the switch or assign the user. But it doesn't matter what technical steps you need in the background. Everything is automated, and that's a good thing. So you do not have to take care about the tech that is automated with PowerShell, Azure Automation, Orchestrator, whatever. So in our case, it is group managed licensing. And what this means, so this license is directly gathered from the Azure Portal API. So there is no list or something. So this is live from the Azure tenant, and we get that list. One more thing for the request license. What we did recently for a customer is that the user had 2 or 3 more questions, so he can decide how long does he need this license. So there was a second question to how long do you need it, and then he can say without any end or limited, and then a third question was showing up with a drop down 3 months, 6 months, or individual, and then he has a date picker. And this then, when the time was up, we removed the user the license from the user. So this is also a way you can use it. You're completely free how to design your forms, your questions. Everything depends on your process in the background. So, and one more thing for the approval. We had one customer with a dynamic approval. So we also had software without any license cost, for example, WinTip or anything like this. And if the license was free, the manager has not to make an approval. Okay, so we had a dynamic approval. So if there was license cost, the manager needs to approve. If there was no license cost, the license was immediately assigned. So that was the end user part. Now switch to the manager side. So we are now at the manager or cost center responsible, whatever you like. And there is the solution that they can assign a license to their users. So I have a service assigned a license, so now I can select a user, and those users can be completely defined as you need it. It can be where you're the manager of, it can be from one department, it can be from one company, from one location, whatever, how you need it. In our case, we do Jasmine again, because she's one of my employees. And of course, because Jasmine removed the Copilot license, I can now assign it again. So I can select Copilot and I can assign it to her. But let's focus on the view of the licenses. There are some changes here, because the end user only saw the license and the cost. Now we see how many licenses do we have bought and how many licenses do we use. So the manager or the cost center responsible or whoever immediately sees if there are still enough licenses to do. And usually if the manager assigns a license to one of his employees, we don't really need an approval. But we have one specific approval, dynamic approval here. And it was that case. You see the Visual Studio Pro GitHub has 0 bought and 0 license. So if I assign that license to Jasmine, we will be under license. And for one customer, we did a dynamic approval that in this case, one of the financial guys or the IT department, it depends on who is responsible, got an approval and an email that he needs to buy some more licenses. And when that is done, he approves the automated approval, the request, and then the license will be assigned to the user. So also here we can do dynamic approval. So in our case, I will assign a Copilot license to Jasmine, and everything is triggered. She will be added to the group or assigned the license, whatever is necessary. And I also can remove a license from a user. That was the wrong service. Remove a license from a user. So now it's the same way, but different way around. The same topic, but different way around. So I can select the user, take Jasmine again. And now I should see the Copilot license because I assigned it to her. And now I want to remove the license from her. So the same way, I can add licenses, remove licenses. Beyond that, there is one single GUI of doing all those things. The second one is that everything is documented in au2mator. So I see all the things I have done. So I see that I removed the license from a user. I see here that Michael removed the Copilot license from Jasmine. So everything is documented. You can do it for your audits if you need that once a year. Or of course, maybe Jasmine will call the IT tomorrow that her Copilot button is gone. So what happened? And now they can see that I removed the license and it is documented and that I was responsible for that action. And that's a huge advantage to have everything documented instead of just putting any user in a group in Active Directory. Okay, that's one of the advantages. I mentioned before that those licenses, so once again, we see the licenses, are gathered immediately at this time from the Azure tenant via the Graph API in this example. So this, if the license, how many licenses we bought and how many licenses are used, are immediately gathered from the Azure tenant API, from the Graph API. But in some cases, this might not be possible. For example, for licenses outside of the Microsoft ecosystem, for licenses from other vendors where there is no API, or maybe in some kind of company structure. So maybe there's a holding on top buying all the licenses and then spreading it to the subsidiaries. So we need to document or write down how many of each licenses have each separate subsidiary. So in this case, we cannot get that directly from the tenant because it's not the truth for each subsidiary. So we need to note down how many does every subsidiary have bought and used. So in this case, We did a database in the background, managed all the licenses, and making a form or a service to manage those licenses. So in our case, we can now manage how many Copilot licenses we have, or maybe the E3 licenses. We see we have 6 bought, but 0 used. That's a lot of money we pay each year without any need. So we decide to remove 3 licenses from the E3. So we had 6, should be 3 afterwards. And the big thing is that it's documented once again. So everything is documented. I decided to remove some licenses. Let's check again. Now we have 3 licenses. We see the Copilot. We want to add some licenses to, because I know maybe 5 guys are coming tomorrow and I need to assign, so I want to add. So also this can be done in au2mator. Easy stuff in the background. We just count some values up or down or removal. But everything is in a central GUI, and everything is documented, who has it done and what was the result. That's the big advantage. And so we have one more example left, and that's the favorite topic of every IT person, I think. It's to get the budget and license report. That's a newly service we did recently for a customer. For example, this customer is a holding and has 15 separate subsidiaries. So the holding is buying and managing the whole IT, and the subsidiaries pay for each license, for each client, for each firewall, for each access point. Okay. So now the subsidiaries every year has to do the budget. So how many IT budget do I need to do for the next year? So they need to see, how many devices do I have right now? How many access points do I have right now? How many licenses do I have right now? So for this, we build the report and we make them the way to select what license, what kind of report they want to have, maybe all, or just in our case, the MS licenses. So what they do on the click of a button, they get a license report. So how many licenses do I use in my area? So it depends on your structure. So maybe the whole company, maybe only the subsidiary. But now we send them a short list of in the email. So what license, how many users, and we have an HTML report with all the members who had one license. And what we do not see here, we also added a CSV file or Excel file. So they get on the click of a button all of their needed devices, client, server, whatever, live from that system, so that we get the server and the clients from the Active Directory or the endpoint manager in Entra ID. We get the firewalls and access points from Meraki and Cisco API, so we get the information directly from the system. No caching, no syncing. On the click of a button, go to the system, get the amount, get the information, and back to the responsible. So that was the demo. I hope you enjoyed it. So now we have one thing left. So if you saw something you liked, if you saw something you want to have more information, or you want to immediately start with that because that's exactly what you're looking for and you want to see what else is possible, my offer to you is a first interview, and of course for free. So use that link, use that QR code, so you can directly book an appointment in my calendar, and let's talk about license managing, let's talk about au2mator, let's talk about IT process automation, whatever. So don't be afraid, book your appointment, it is free, and let's talk how we can help you to do more in your IT and to automate all your tasks. Okay? So I hope you enjoyed the webcast. Wish you a nice day and see you next time. Bye-bye.